Wow. We are now officially recording. It is just about game time, y'all. In 3, 2. What's up, y'all? It's that time again. We are here on ColumbusBlack.com. And let me tell you what, it is Wellness Wednesday, right? Some call it Hump Day. We call it Wellness Wednesday. It is the middle of the week, and I'm sure that it has been as full and as active for most of you as it has been for myself and my special guests that are on with us today. So look, a little bit of background. First of all, ColumbusBlack.com, for those that don't know, we've been around for nearly 16 years now, and we recently launched some new programming, and what you're seeing today is a part of that new programming. So on Mondays, we have Matchmaker Mondays. Once a month, we have Talent Tuesdays for companies to come on and share what they have going on. In the midnight hour is our spiritual inspiration piece at midnight on Tuesday nights in the midnight hour. And then we move into Wellness Wednesdays on Wednesdays, right? So, and with that, what you guys are going to see, or guys and gals are going to see today, is a combination of an artist component. We're going to do an artist feature, right? That's actually sponsored by Columbus Makes Art. And then we're also going to have a feature in regards to wellness, overall wellness, because that's what this is about, right? It's your well-being. And today we have a special guest, and we're going to talk about some uniqueness around what he has going on that's really going to help us with our overall wellness, right? So this is what that's all about. And the artist piece, so that you all know, is artists balance us, right? They balance us. No matter what kind of art it is that really piques our interest and gets us, it allows us to kind of level set, and I call it balance. So that's the reason why we do that as a part of our overall well-being. Then we move into Thursdays, and that's Throwback Thursdays, where we will highlight our Support Black Business series. Fridays is Foodylicious Fridays. If you've missed that, you're missing something good. You might get a little bit of a taste of that today, right, by the way, right? And then a little segue. And then from there, we go into, on Saturdays, right, once a month, we have what we call a Beco system. And with the Beco system, that's around the Black and Brown ecosystem, which is all of our businesses for the most part. We focus a lot on tech as well, but making sure we're working together and understanding how we continue to elevate our businesses. And then we have Kim C's and Dami Styles Music Pick. Stay tuned. That's about to come out. They've been doing their playlist, which is sponsored by Mile, the app that makes your life entertaining. So coming to you all really soon here on Columbus Black as well. So anyway, that's what we've been doing. Remember, we're an omni-channel platform connecting our community to commerce and culture. So if you want to advertise or promote your business, or if you're recruiting for your business, this is where you reach out to us and we help you get to our community to make that happen. Now, with that being said, it's time for us to shift gears, right? And we're actually going to move on in to Wellness Wednesday. So our first guest, right, our artist feature today is Mr. Hakeem Callwood. So Hakeem comes to us. We were introduced to Hakeem through the Columbus Makes Art team, so we're excited about that. I want to thank Jamie for that connection and all that she does with GCAC as well. And what I want to do is I want to turn it over to Hakeem to tell us a little bit about himself, who he is, but then we're going to go a little bit deeper because we want to know, how did Hakeem become Hakeem? All right, so we're going to turn it over to you, Hakeem, to introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up? I'm Hakeem Callwood. People know me online as Hakeem's Art and stuff. That's like my handle, all that good stuff. I'm a freelance 2D artist for the main part. So I do like illustrations, paintings, murals. I'm known for a lot of murals lately, all that good stuff. Comics, I'm working on animation. And really, I just, I love to create. I can't not create. And I'm lucky enough that I get to do it for a living and that the stuff I do helps the community.
Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. So with that being said, do me a favor, like one of the things that we always want to make sure we do is tell a backstory, right? So Hakeem, when did you realize that you had this ability? At what age, and what actually got you into this endeavor to the point that you are right now?
I know it's weird thinking of it as an ability, like, because I don't feel like I had a lot of natural visual art talent at all. I just practiced a whole lot. I started, I was inspired by my older brother, my closest sibling to me. He's 13 years older than me. And so, I was just trying to be him for at least till I was 13. And he was into comic books and video games and all that stuff and cartoons. And that kind of like, I would say that piqued my creative interest, but I didn't really start drawing and stuff. I mean, I've heard I drew as a kid, but I didn't start drawing actively until I was a teenager, like halfway through high school is when I decided I wanted to get into art.
Okay. And then, so how did it evolve at that point? So once you started to, dabble into it a little bit and realize I really enjoy this, how did it escalate to this point? What did that look like? Yeah.
I really went gung ho, I kind of like, as much as it was harmful for me to not have a lot of art background, as much as that could hold me back, it also gave me like a positive naivete. You feel me? Like I didn't know any of the rules that were supposed to stop me from being successful, so I just walked past a lot of that. I tried to go to school as soon as I got out of high school, but I went to a whack college, so I just dropped out and got real like guerrilla-esque with it, where basically I got on Google and Googled Columbus art, and then I went to everything that I saw on the page and I implanted myself everywhere I was places.
Really? So here's what's interesting, is you made a comment, and it's interesting how far we could go when we don't look at or think about any limitation, right? So there was no limitation in your mind as to how far you could go, so you just kept going, and things progressed for you.
Yeah, I named my first solo art show Naive for that same reason. Because I was like, as much as that's a negative word, look where it's getting me.
Say that part one more time.
So I named my first solo show Naive because as much as it's like a negative thing, it benefited me. So
wow.
I kind of want to keep being transparent and letting people know how I got where I'm getting.
Okay. Yeah. So that's really insightful, and there's some depth to that hopefully our audience can pick up on, and I think we get that a lot from our artists too, right? Is there's always some serious depth to it in their creativity. So Naive, wow, that's powerful. So let's talk about this. Last year, COVID-19, right around this time last year kicked in. What impact did that have to you as an artist? I know for some people it was detrimental and then people struggled. I know for others it's like things took off. On your end, how have things been with the impact of COVID-19 as an artist?
I mean, it's sad to see how it affected a lot of people's lives and stuff, people who are hurt, people who passed away from it. But career-wise, artistically for me, it was probably my best year of my career so far. All of a sudden, art went from from frivolous and extra to necessity. And I happen to have been making art consistently up to this point. So then I became like, they needed me now, So the next thing you know, we're out there making murals and the protests. Yeah. Windows got broken in protest, so they put boards up, and artists doing what we do, we adapt. I consider art like problem solving. Like the problem is how to get that idea in here, that song in here, or whatever, out to your audience, or whether that's even just you. And I get to exercise my problem solving muscle a lot. And so when a big problem happened, I was ready to go.
Okay. And the opportunity presented itself for sure. Listen, I'm actually, everybody can't see this, but I would like to invite, and we normally say, hey, how do people find your information? But with Columbus Makes Art being a sponsor of this particular segment, we want to make sure we invite everybody to go to ColumbusMakesArt.com. And when you go on there, you're going to actually see some of Hakeem's work. So I want to invite you all to really take a look at some of the amazing things that he's done, which has been awesome. So listen, before we started the call today, you and Cornell were talking about a couple of things. So that's going to lead us into what's next for you, right? What are you looking for? What's on the horizon for Hakeem?
I'm always happy to talk to Cornell. I went to school with his son, so I feel like I've known him forever. Nice. But we were talking about right now I'm on tour. I'm doing a mural tour. As far as we know, this was the first ever one. We acting like I'm a rock star. We're going state to state, painting murals like it's a band. So far we've done a couple.
What you mean acting like you're a rock star, man?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sometimes I forget.
So good.
So we're going state to state painting murals. You can find out more info about it on tourdemural.com. That's TOURDEMURAL.com. So we already went to a couple places. We're about to go to a couple more places here soon. I'm lucky enough that doing murals, I can continue to do this type of stuff and be safe. It's that tops a couple people around, and maybe somebody, my homie Ted Cadillac is on the camera behind me, and maybe I have one, two people helping me, and we're outside, so there's lots of space for social distancing, you know. So it's just like you said earlier, you know, COVID caused a lot of problems, but it also opened up some new opportunities.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So one of the things that we're gonna do is we'll take a quick second, man, and I want everybody to see this. I know that they can could go visit it themselves, but we're gonna show you guys exactly what he just talked about right here, right? So this is toward the mural, right? And you can see it looks like you got a video on there as well, highlighting the virtual mural, right?
Yeah, so we did a mural tour last year, and about March we put it out where we took you on Google Earth from place to place in Columbus where I had murals. And that's what inspired the new tour, where instead of we're just showing me, now we're showing you other places and other artists and stuff like that.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. So yeah, so everybody can see that, take a look, go ahead and visit the website. And then the other one is on Columbus Makes Art. This is his feature page right here, so y'all can check him out. Okay, you see his handles on there as well. So that's good stuff. All right. So cool. So that's next steps for you. That's what you got coming up. You're on this tour,
which is really good.
Making your rounds. And what do you see in the future for you? Right. So you're an artist. You're expanding your base. You got this tour. You're a rock star. And you know, what's the big picture? What's the goal?
I have another project coming out after that. I'm working on the animation, and it's been a humbling experience to say the least. You know, to kind of like I said, I'm a 2D visual artist, and to kind of push that beyond 2D into writing and development and producing. And I'm excited for that next chapter in my career, in my life too. But really, I want to, you know, I'm not going to be the cool young guy forever. Eventually, I'll be the cool middle-aged guy. And then at that time, I want to be able to give these experiences to the next younger people or older people, or next maybe younger to art. You know, I want to be able to somehow compile the resources and things I've got and just, you know, dish them out the same way people did to me. That's how I got where I am now.
That's awesome, awesome, awesome. That legacy piece, man, giving back and paying forward at the same time. I love it. I love it. So that's going to be a great segue into how we actually wrap this up. But so with that, you know, you talked about the middle age piece, and I looked at Carnell, and then I looked at me, and I saw all this gray we got. And I was like, he's talking about us, man. So, so it's all good though. So yeah. So with that being said, one of the things that I want everybody to know is with this segment, our goal is to really showcase our local artists who are really doing a great job of sharing their voice through their different forms of art. But at the same time, I want us to make sure that we're able to support them. And I know a lot of different people from different walks of life will end up watching this video. Whether you're watching us live now, whether you watch it tonight, this weekend, next week, a year from now, because it's a digital footprint. What I want to know is, Hakeem, if there was one thing we could do to support you, is there anything that you need from us as a community? Because I always say when an artist or an entrepreneur does their part to get the work done and get it all established, now it's on us to support that and help them be successful. So is there anything that we can do to help you, whether it's open up a door, get in contact with you, buy your art, whatever it may be? What do you need?
I guess career-wise, superficially, or I would say you can I'm looking for a mural in every state. I'm trying to get to all 50 states. So if you know somebody with a wall or a business or something, have them reach out, go to the website. But more important than that, if you want to help me out the most, you can be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbors. I think, you know, I've already went through some things. I know I'll go through some more things and I'll be okay, but we all need to be okay.
All right. Be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbors, right? Powerful. It's good stuff. Now, for those of you that are watching this that have those resources and those networks around the country, this brother's doing some amazing things. His artwork is beautiful. So we need to go ahead and support him. Let's open up those doors and let's think about how we can help him actually get in all 50 states where he can be represented. And then remember, go ahead, Hakeem.
No, I was just saying thanks.
Yeah, no problem at all. So listen, before we wrap up with you, one of the things that I always tell people is that normally you get ready to come on these shows and you say, I want to talk about this. And then you get on the show and you forget. And then after the show, you're like, I can't believe I forgot to talk about that. Is there anything that you want to share with the audience that'll be watching this at some point that we haven't talked about yet before we go?
I don't know. I could shout out some of my friends that do art. Shout out to like Lisa and Brian and Maroon Arts Group.
All right.
And the list goes on and on forever. Like Joel and I mean, shout out to you for bringing us on here. Thanks to Jamie and Tom over at GCAC. They're always helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll just send you a 24-page list of people
that's what
that I think deserve a shout out.
I actually thought you were about to pull it up real quick. Like, hold up. So no, that's really cool, man. That's good stuff. So listen, for those that are watching, excited to have Hakeem on the show with us today. Happy to have the opportunity to feature you. I look forward to seeing more of your art and being able to support you. And I also look forward to having you back on the show, right? Because you're doing your tour. We'd love to have you back on to talk about your experiences from the tour. Okay?
Will do.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. So listen, for all those aspiring artists out there, y'all just heard it right here on ColumbusBlack.com from Hakeem, doing his thing on tour, our local rock star, making it happen, going all around the country and leaving his footprint. All right, stamping them left and right. Nice job, man. Well, good stuff. Well, with that being said, I think that's a great segue, right? So we're going to move on to Cornell Willoughby. Many of you know Cornell from all the things he's done over the years and from his business, and now he's evolving and growing into a new environment. And I'm excited to have him on the show today as well. Cornell, would you do me a favor? Would you share a little bit about yourself, your background, so those that don't know you, they understand your foundation that led to where you are today?
My name is Cornell Bay Willoughby, Willoughby Soul Veg. I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey, but I'm a long resident of Columbus, Ohio. I come from a large family of 8, 3 children. And started in the art scene here in Columbus doing hip hop. I was a part of a group called Spirit, Soldiers Poised, Infinitely Reinforced in Truth. It was 6 members that turned into 4 members. We're still active from time to time, but my passion shifted, of course, to culinary arts. It was a calling that called me, and it wasn't as if I wanted to like dive into it and become this foodie guy. But we were long time vegans back in the day, when we're talking like the late 80s, when it wasn't cool, when it wasn't vogue, but now it is super vogue. Big business is chiming in, trying to put Impossible Burgers on their menus. But Willoughby's is a dream that came out of my brother Malik A. Willoughby's head. He conceptualized the whole thing and charged me with making sure that we made it to people's doorsteps and the food got to people's mouths and such.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how long has it been now since Soul Veg has been in existence?
Rolling up on 8 years.
Congratulations.
It's okay, sure.
That's awesome. So 8 years. So tell us a little bit about Soul Veg. What is Soul Veg, right? You talked about the inspiration behind it. What is it, and what do you all do so that people understand what you provide as well?
We're a vegan catering company. I would say pop-up. We'll probably still do pop-ups, but initially a vegan pop-up and catering company. We got our start at 400 Farmers Markets, where we started selling our goods. I had one item, which is curry cabbage. It was a Jamaican curry cabbage. We went from place to place doing pop-ups kind of all over the city. And then we were kind of immediately embraced by the city, which was really, really beautiful. But we got our start because we wanted to at least make a contribution to, especially to the African American communities and those that are kind of glossed over, your food deserts and such. Yeah. Wanted to provide, a better way of eating for people, and wanted to make that a normal practice for people.
Okay, and hopefully right there, and you dropped it just like I needed it. Like that was like a mic drop, because that's what this segment is all about, right? It's about wellness, well-being for especially in our community, and making sure we're educated on that. So this is a key component to what we eat, and the impact of it. So would you mind sharing some of the backdrop? So for those that have not considered, right, the vegan style, would you share anything around that? So from an education standpoint, we educate our community about the foods that you provide, so we can help those that don't understand.
So just as a side note, I'm not like a nutritionist or like a guru when it comes to food nutrition. I know my personal decision to become vegan had everything to do with what ran rampant in our community. So we have high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, and very few options in our immediate surroundings to grab or to get some of those things. So that was my personal attempt to really be self-aware, aware of my environment, and also aware that what I put in my mouth could eventually take my life, or not just take my life, but make life miserable for me. So we did a lot of research figuring out what was good for us. So it was initially a personal choice, and then we figured, hey, why not offer this to the community at hand, especially for us? And it's kind of it's taboo to like eat vegetables sometimes, especially in the hood. Like you vegetarian, so all you eat is vegetables. Yeah, all I eat is vegetables. Or where do you get your protein and so forth? So those are the questions that get kicked around.
Yeah.
So in most cases, I don't start with education. I start with an introduction.
Okay, break it down. Break it down. Hold on, real quick. So one of the things that we do on these shows is we do gem drops, right? So when you drop in that knowledge, you're gonna see me going like this. So I just don't want to throw you off when you see Kev just starting to go like this when you're dropping those gems, all right? So go ahead.
So,
introduction, y'all.
So I don't do a whole lot of explaining. So when someone approaches the counter, they look and see that it's vegan food, and more than likely they do an about face. And then I will, with using all the charm that I have, try to get them back over there. I do not try to educate them. The last thing someone wants to do is say, someone wants to hear is like, oh, you have my dietary needs on hand for me. Nah, that's not it. I just need you to sample this. It's an introduction.
Bam.
And this is how I'm going to introduce the food to you. You make the decision. And
we just lost you. We just lost your audio too. I think you all know every now and then.
In most cases, that becomes the hook. They taste the food and they wonder what's in it. And that's, and that becomes an introduction for a conversation. And not so much as education. It's a conversation and an introduction to something that your grandmother might have introduced you to that you lost sight of.
Yeah.
So, and that's all it is. And in most cases, people are like, quinoa, not quinoa, is a complete protein. It has all the essential amino acids in it. It's just as good as lean a chicken breast or a steak. And your body processes it a whole lot better. Protein are your building block of your cells. Your body loses cells every day. It regenerates cells every day. So replacing them with the best that you can give your body is giving yourself the best chance that you can actually have.
He's dropping them. Hey, y'all can always tell, right? When the gem drops are coming, because I'm like really in tune. I'm just focused. I'm just like waiting and learning, right? So I appreciate you breaking it down that way. So what is clearly your following has grown over the years. Your business continues to grow, and as you said, now it's like the hot thing, right? Like so everybody wants to get to that food. What's the most popular and what's in the most high demand out of the options that you provide that people just like, man, I gotta have that?
Man, that's a loaded question, Kev. Very, very loaded question. That's hard to gauge. It's really, really hard to gauge. Curry cabbage soul power rolls. Soul power rolls is like a spring roll.
Okay.
And it has quinoa, it has lentils in it, and it has this dipping sauce on the side. And it's literally just a appetizer.
Okay.
But people, they rave over it. They speak of it as if it's a meal, like, yeah, this is it right here. Curry cabbage is the first dish I ever started with. The cooking process I inherited from my aunt, who by far can outcook me on her worst day.
Wow.
But
that's a shout out.
Yeah, my aunt Ivy Brown is no joke in the kitchen. She will cook me under the freaking stove, straight up. She's that deal.
All right.
But she showed me a process and how she gets to how her cabbage tastes the way it does. I just added some different components because that's the way I wanted it. But she had become a template for how I approach, especially that dish. And of course, there's been many other mentors and influences along the way that kind of held my hand through the process. Oh, I have the passion to do it, and sometimes ideas don't flow. So the people, I use my resources around me, and it more than likely they give me all that I need, and I'm able to provide the general public a whole lot more than I can ever imagine.
Wow. I love that, because that's a big part of what this is the support piece. And it's so great to hear about the community support that you've had, the family support, to actually bring to life what we're talking about today with Soul Veg. So that's really awesome. So do me a favor, give us a little backdrop in regards to last year, right? And I know, so from a vegan standpoint, I know that business is thriving at this point, but obviously COVID had an impact to so many in our community. How did it impact you either way?
So, pop-up and catering is what I, that was my business. That's what I did. When you don't have any foot traffic, when there's no events and you can't do events on your own, you're going to lose revenue. And there's been big chains that shut their doors. But there's been some small mom and pop places that actually shut their doors due to COVID. The bigger thing for me was, there were other operations that kind of was in jeopardy. I was renting a commercial kitchen space from some people that was trying to get rid of their debt, so to speak. And I lost a commercial kitchen, like dead smack in the middle of COVID. And I was doing okay as far as deliveries go, but I had no kitchen to cook in.
Wow.
And I immediately kind of rolled out of that and reached out to the community, and the resources poured in. It felt like I was stage diving through the community with all the love and all the resources that people were providing. And not only resources, but they were sending paper my way. It was, here you go, here's some money. Don't get me wrong, they wasn't dumping millions on me. Right. But what little that they gave was like $1 million to me. Just letting me know that my value composition in the community meant something to them, so they wanted to see me win. And I think for the most part, the general public, the community, if you're doing good in the community, they want to see you win. So they speak your name in places, and they really celebrate you when you don't even know. It's a wonderful thing. It's absolutely beautiful. And that goes without post, and that goes without boasting, or whatever the case may be. It's pretty dope.
That is awesome. And by the way, y'all, that is in itself a gem drop, or a number of them, right? When you're doing good, right, for others, guess what? They do good for you. And I'm so happy to hear you share how they came to support you during that time where things were, there's a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity, trying to figure things out, man. That's what it's supposed to be about. That's what it is about. And I appreciate you sharing that, because sometimes, unfortunately, I don't think we recognize that that our community does come together like that. We see so much negative, and we hear so much negative, but we don't hear the positives like that. So thank you for sharing that.
Well done.
So with that being said, right now it's 2021. There's some new things on the horizon. Bring us up to speed. What's going on with Soul Veg in 2021?
So we will be at North Market. North Market is our next home, and I am over the moon. Like it's still pretty surreal for me, because they don't have that many. They have ethnic food there, but they don't have black food, a black presence there. Ooh. You have Hoyos there now, and you have Preston's there, and then I'll be there.
Okay.
So and not to say that North Market wasn't cool, but we're gonna make it a whole lot cooler.
Oh yeah.
Presence. And I can't wait. I really can't wait to start serving people there. And connecting with some of the other small businesses that are there, and seeing how we can help each other.
That is awesome. Super excited for you, proud of you. And just tell them to make sure they check their traffic counters before and after you get there. All right. So, so here's a question for you. When will you actually be at the North Market?
I can't give you an exact date, but it's going to be before April. Will be
before April 1st.
It should. That's my goal date.
All right. So, okay. So now let me ask you this question. In the meantime, like if I needed some of that curry cabbage, where can we find you now?
So right now I'm doing catering only. Okay. I do have access to a kitchen, so I can do. I 10 people or more.
Yeah,
I'll be glad to feed you. Just hit me up. willitbesolveg@gmail.com. Yeah, and we can get it cracked. We can do our thing.
We definitely can. And now here, check this out, Joe. Here's a plug, and I'll follow up. I don't want to get ahead of myself with my partners. I need to talk to them, but I feel like they're gonna say absolutely. The virtual that you all see behind me is a new co-working space. It's a Black-owned co-working space called Venture Suite. It is a suite of ventures right off of Mount Vernon, right across the street from the Columbus Urban League. And some partners and I are going to be opening up this location really, really soon, right? So more to come on that. But one of the things that we'll be doing is that there'll be special events there. People will be having events there. They'll be able to bring in caterers. So I think Soul Veg may be one of those opportunities. And we may have to do a trial run with 10 or more just to taste everything, make sure it all works in the environment, and support a brother in the business and all that good stuff. So just a heads up.
There it is. Quality control. I'm right up the block. We right here on MLK. That's where I live.
Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. That's good stuff.
We're a rock throw away, straight up.
There you go. And that's how it works. So we are in the community, right? He talked about food deserts. Well, guess what? That area is an innovation desert as well. So we'll bring some innovation and technology right there off of Mount Vernon Ave. So excited about that. All right.
Absolutely.
So hey, so that's what's coming up for you in 2021. So we're gonna plug in. We're gonna go into this next piece, right? If there's something that we could do as a community to support you, right? And I know by April 1st, but is there anything that I may not be thinking about that will help you to get to that next milestone and keep growing and doing the things that you want to do with the business?
Just support it. Just be present. Show up. I'm always blown away when people show up. Just show up. You know what I mean? And that's what keeps small business afloat, when people support. And that's the lifeblood of small business. Yeah. The support of the community. So that's what I need. I need the support of the community. I've had the support of the community, and it's just divine law of reciprocity working in its favor. But for those that are putting it out there, but but that's essentially what I need from y'all. That's it.
Dropping gems. All right. So listen, that gives me makes me think about it. We have to make sure, and I can work with you on this. So on the Mile app, right? That's the entertainment and lifestyle app. We want to make sure when you get there that we actually get you to post your venue, like your location, on there. You can add pictures. You can, obviously put your website, all the details. That way, when people are looking for, because we have a food and bar category, when they're looking for food and they put in vegan, guess what's going to pop up? And obviously, a lot of people tied to downtown, obviously, or around Columbus, will be using the platform for that purpose. So that'll be really cool and an easy way for you to get that information out. All right.
Oh, dope.
Cool.
Dope.
Yeah. So, and for everybody else out there, make sure you download the Mile app. That's MYLE. It says events curated for you. We're about to launch our second version of that, hopefully in the next 30, 45 days as well. Really advanced, but cool. So with that being said, going back to the well-being, right? So is there anything else tied to what you're doing as it relates to our community, well-being, our health, that you would like to share that we may not have spoken about at this point, that you may have said, hey, I want to make sure I drop this knowledge in these gems, any more gem drops for the community?
So at the Box Park, which is on 17th and Mount Vernon, we have several raised beds. So there's some free food out there, but there's also a farmer's market. There's education involved. So linking into that, so that you'll know exactly what you're putting into your body, where it comes from, how it's grown, so forth. Just stay connected to the things that's really going to make your holistic self better.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. So I think there's a bunch of community resources around us, and I sometimes we're not, we can be more resourceful. We just have to ask. Okay.
Do me a favor. I'm gonna ask you, for those that may have missed that, right? Because you dropped some gems there in regards to resources for us. Would you recap that one more time, just so if anybody missed that?
So on the corner of 17th and Mount Vernon, you have Maroon Arts Group has several raised beds, and there'll be a community garden out there. I also have shipping container out there that I'll be pushing food out of as well. But there's 3 containers out there. One is a gallery space, one's performance space, and the other one is Willoughby's pop-up food space. But there's also gardens out there with food that's available for the community. There's farmers market out there. There's Dr. Julia Lynn Walker, who has Agri Academy. She does education out there. There's more than likely is going to be some food demonstrations out there, and it's going to be like a garden to plate type of deal. So there's quite a few things that's taking place right there in the middle of the hood, that's fruitful and that's good for the soul. And I think people should, tune in and make sure that they are supporting that because it supports them.
That is outstanding. That is outstanding, man. He just dropped some more gems. I bet most people didn't even know that existed, right? So, and I've driven by those containers a million times, right? So that's one of those things that we should all be aware of and support. That's what I love about, I talk about these shows, man, in the platform and using Columbus Black to get information out is, and I think why I enjoy it so much is because of all the information I learned from our community about all the great things that we're doing. And I want to make sure we continue to do that. So with that, I appreciate you taking the time in the midst of getting ready for your opening, taking the time to come on so we could learn a little bit more about what you have going on with Soul Veg, and also being able to drop some of that knowledge and background. So we really, really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for being persistent. We see emails come through. I really, truly appreciate that. Hakeem, I'm super proud of you, man. You're one of my favorite people in this world.
Oh, shucks.
I'm so serious.
I love you too, dog.
You're my people. I love you like cooked food. You're my peoples. But yeah, shout out to Maroon Arts Group, Willoughby Soul Veg, Mbu Bay, all the Black orgs that's out there that's doing work, Marshall Shorts. There's quite a few people in this community that's doing really, really good work. And I love my community. And I stand for them, and in most cases, they stand for me. Thank you again, Kev, for having me on. Thank you, Hakeem, for being born, man. You dope.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, man. Thank you too, Kevin, for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a pleasure, guys. So listen, so with that being said, y'all, we want to once again thank Hakeem for taking the time today. Thank Cornell for taking the time today. I want to thank, obviously, Columbus Makes Art for their support and helping to open up that door. And I just want to thank our community as well. So what I want to ask you all to do is I want you all to do me a favor. For those that are watching this, I know you learned something, right? So I'm going to ask you to tag somebody else, okay, when you watch this, right? When you see this thread, what I want you to do is in your thread or on the chat, I want you to tag somebody that you know needs to hear this, right? So whether they are into art or they're into food, and we all into one of those two, you have to be, right? So I need you to tag them. Make sure you share this and help get the word out, and then show up, right? Show up. That was one of the keys, right? And then the other one was, you know, be kind. Just be kind. That's it. Those are simple asks, y'all. Show up to eat and be kind to yourself and your fellow men and women. Come on. That's not hard, right? So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. And make sure you check us out on ColumbusBlack.com. That's where this will actually be aired and posted. So you'll be able to find this later on. If you don't find it on Facebook or on YouTube, you'll find it on our website. And in addition to that, make sure that you like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. All right. We need those followers. Those followers help to keep us in business and keep doing the things that we get to do. All right. So with that being said, everybody have a wonderful one. Remember, wellness, right? Your health is your wealth. It's so important, right? So I want y'all to have some balance, and I want y'all to make sure y'all are eating right as well, okay? And I need to do better there too, but I'm gonna go get some of that curry cabbage, and it's gonna be on soon.
Some of that.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one, and we'll catch up.
You too.
All right.
Peace, peace,
Bye.
peace.
Peace.
See ya.